I tell you, it is a difficult balancing act because Meghan was an actress for a living, and it still looks like she's performing for the cameras when she is doing her best to look sympathetic. The way she aggressively hugs people, and you're just kind of like, do you have that person's consent? Where I'm saying to you, like with Catherine rubbing that woman's arm, that seriously looked like a comforting moment. Hi, all. Welcome to Reading Royals with body language expert Scott Rouse. I'm Kinsey Schofield. Reading Royals brings history, headlines, and human behavior together in a way only Scott and I can. We go beyond palace press releases and carefully staged photo ops to look at what's really being communicated. Scott, how was CrimeCon? Give me the rundown. Did you see any Reading Royals viewers while you were there?
You would not believe how many people came up and said, I found you on Kinsley's show.
Kinsley,
Kinsley, and like the one I know I told you about said Kelsey.
Kelsey, they love
So, but
Kelsey.
but there were more Kinseys than Kinsleys. I mean, there were,
Uh,
but to be serious, so a lot of people, a whole lot
oh,
of people. They did it last time. This time was a lot more, you
oh my
know.
gosh. I love
Yeah, I
that.
was surprised. And then
Oh,
actually, Chase, if you don't watch our behavior panel show, anybody watching, actually said something about Megan when we were doing our thing on the stage. So
so you
uh,
you got you talked about your girl, whether you wanted to or not. What I thought was so funny was the joke about how you would have to crowdfund, I think, so that you could raise enough money for Megan's personal appearance fee, which was just classic. I mean, that the
yeah,
accuracy there in the crowd erupted because they knew it to be true.
yeah, it's gonna be down to about $14, I think soon. So I'll probably be able to afford it. If everybody pitches in just a little bit, we'll be able to
Yeah,
get it.
I think so. I
Plus the
have faith.
cost.
Well,
Ugh.
let's talk about Queen Camilla. We haven't spent a lot of time with Queen Camilla on this program, not because she's not out and about, because she's fiercely out and about. But this, I thought, was such a special and unique royal engagement. She recently hosted a magical tea party and treasure hunt for seriously ill children at Clarence House. This is where she lives. I know that some people still assume that the royal family's in Buckingham Palace. It's currently under renovation. I don't know if
Huh.
King Charles will ever move back to Buckingham Palace. I don't think he will. I think that they love Clarence House. I think that they'll stay there, and something else will become of Buckingham Palace. Maybe it's their offices. It could become a tourist spot.
Well, where is this house you're talking about? Where
It's
where
right
is
near
it?
Buckingham Palace. So he's in the vicinity. He's constantly nearby. He's constantly close, but he has chosen to live in Clarence House while Buckingham Palace is under renovation. And what happens when it's done with renovation, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think it will ever, in my lifetime, I don't think it will be a royal residence again.
Hmm.
But I love the idea of it becoming a space that we can walk through as tourists because I
Yeah.
do that every time I'm there and it's open. I walk through it and I just imagine all the people that have walked through the same hallways and the important decisions that were made, or the people that fell in love in the ballrooms and all of those things. So I get a kick out of it. So they were at Clarence House, and this was organized in partnership with the charity Dreams and Wishes. And it's so cute because the children were treated to a carriage ride from Buckingham Palace's Royal Mews. They had sweet treats, they had little desserts with their names written across them, and a personalized treasure hunt. Let's take a look at some of that video now, but it's truly the cutest thing I've seen in such a long time. Queen Camilla obviously loved this engagement.
Mhm.
This She is in her element. I love the way that she's handpicking some of the custom desserts for the children. They've got their names on them. She's placing that dessert on their plate. We saw her hugging them, distributing gifts, holding their hand as they went around Clarence House for the treasure hunt.
Mhm.
I've never seen her glowing in such a way. You can tell she's appreciative of the position she's in this experience.
Yeah, and you have to take on the when you're in a situation like that, especially if you're the person in charge or the leader of that situation, and it's a situation like that, little children who are sick, you have to put on that air of everything's great, man, everything's fine, because at that moment, all they're worried about is all that's gone. because they're focused on her and think about her. So their feelings will, in other words, the feeling of the room will sort of radiate off her. They'll be checking her to see how it's going because you look at that person to see how they feel, and that's how you want to feel too. So it's really important to have all those things we saw in there, all the smiles. Those are all called Duchenne smiles. Everyone we saw in her were all real,
Mm.
and the little children were having the best time, and you could see that because there were no frowns. Obviously, everybody's up and their shoulders are back a little bit, and they're all smiling and happy. So in this situation, we're seeing everything we should. I look for things that are missing. I don't see anything missing from somebody being happy or in a good mood or feel like they're in the spot where they should be in. So I look really
And
good.
what does it take? Because this is a mother, a grandmother, you know, it's got to take somebody with a really strong spirit to carry on that smile. I mean, I am sure you're happy, you're making dreams come true. I am sure that you're enjoying the company and enjoying the experience. But as a grandmother, as somebody that just seems to be very, empathetic and compassionate, she does lots of like she loves to read to children. She loves books. She's a vigorous reader. Do you have to turn something off sometimes? Or I guess my question is, how do you not cry? How do you not melt? How do you stay strong in that moment? Because you're saying she has to be an anchor in that moment to manage everyone's feelings. She has to be
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, it's a
Yeah.
great day, instead of like, I'm so sorry. Like I would
Yeah.
I would cry. I feel like there's a strength in her that I really admire, that she's capable of managing that situation in such a graceful way and maintaining everybody's uplifted spirit.
Yeah. Well, there's a way you go about doing that. You have to, it's like if you're the doctor in a situation, right? For example, my dad was a doctor, and I said, and one time I asked him, I said, when you come into a situation where a little child's had their hand mangled or cut off or something horrible, how do you deal with that? How do you not go, oh my gosh? He said, because when that begins, when you get there, you're the person, you're the man, you're the guy, you're the woman, whoever it is, you're the person that's going to do that. And that's what you're going to do. That's what you're there to do. So in her situation, she's there to do that. And she's done that 1,000 times, so she's used to it. Some people can look at those things, and it's not that you're not empathetic or sympathetic. You have to be, and you are, but you sort of tamp it down because you have something, you put something in its place, in other
So is
words.
it like I have a job to do? This is my role. I
Yeah.
have is it, and I wonder too, with your father and with Queen Camilla, when the door shuts, do you sometimes collapse and
Yeah.
say, I need to grieve. I need to the emotions that I just held back need
Yeah.
to escape.
Yeah, yeah. There's another way of doing it where people, it's called putting it in a box, and
Mhm.
all that stuff you see and do and those kind of things, you put in this little box and then you close it and you don't open that box up ever again. That's not the way to do it, but some people do it that way, and it can cause problems later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like years later, it can bother you because you don't address those emotions and or feelings. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but from just the experiences that I've had to deal with people who deal with that, and when you go into a situation where something like that is happening, they say, "Here's how you do that." But that happens when they explain those things to you when you're young and going into interrogation or you're a police officer and those kind of things. So if you don't address those, it could be a problem. But in a situation like the one she's in, we expect her to be strong, and that's why they're there. Because they want to see somebody that's strong, somebody that can handle all that, because it's tough for them, you
Hmm.
know.
I
So
love Queen Elizabeth, and I've always loved Queen Elizabeth. But there is something, and I hope I don't offend anyone with this statement. There was something so hands on about Queen Camilla's posture and Queen Camilla's presence that I'm having a hard time linking a similar memory with Queen Elizabeth. I mean, I will search for it, but Queen Camilla holding hands with little kids walking
mhm.
around Clarence House, I can't immediately think of another image of Queen Elizabeth doing something similar. Like I feel like she was very hands-on with her own children and her grandchildren,
Mhm.
but I can't think of another. image of Queen Elizabeth and a stranger, where you see such a hands-on approach. And I really love that about Queen Camilla.
Yeah, I can't add to it.
Yeah.
It's all girl stuff. But I can't, I don't say I agree with you, but
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with, as you know, the
Yeah.
Queen's background doing all those things. This is
Hmm.
all fairly new to me, the
Right.
whole royal thing. But I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
Yeah. Just that physical touch I thought was just very meaningful. Being bent over,
Oh yeah.
ensuring that they had their desserts. Which one do you want? Or even placing their cut. I told you, like, while we were watching it, it's probably, I'm repeating myself, but just to walk into the palace and see a customized dessert with my name on it, next level, next
Uh,
freaking level. I thought that this was so sweet and so well executed, and
yeah.
uh, a great reflection on who Queen Camilla truly is. And this royal engagement really redefined her in my heart and stood out to me. And I never in my life thought I would want to throw my arms around her until I watched this video, and I thought,
Mhm.
what a wonderful human being you are. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for making their day. Thank you for giving them such a special day and experience, that no matter how long their little lives will be, they will repeat this story and this exchange forever. And I just really appreciate that about her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
That's tough to do, but she's in that position. She's older, obviously, and she's got the grandmother thing on her. So
Hmm.
you give that up for the kids. She knows how to do it. Every grandmother knows how to do it, and that's just what she's doing,
Did you
you
see
know?
grandmother in her a little bit when you were watching her body language?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. It's that, obviously older, so you move slower and all that, but being aware of what's going on around you, because older people will tend to look around more and they'll tend to see what's going on, whereas younger people just get right into it and just focus on one thing. She's focused, but check her out when as it's going on. She's checking the whole place. She's looking around, but that's what you do. It's not a threat check. She's just checking the environment, just looking to see what's going on.
Making sure everyone's
Yeah.
happy, everyone's enjoying
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah, everything's running smoothly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like. Let's jump to a really beautiful video from. If you haven't watched this one yet, you might as well just get your tissues ready, Scott. Princess Catherine, she made a surprise visit to the Christie NHS Foundation Trust in Manchester. She spent some time with patients and shared an emotional moment with 30-year-old Claire Lorente. It's either Laurent or Lorente. I'm so sorry to Claire. Claire, I will find out, but it's Lorente. And she's a young mother who just finished her final round of breast cancer chemotherapy, and she rang the traditional end of treatment bell. We have two videos here, so we'll watch those. We'll start with this one right here, which was provided from the Telegraph.
I see you. Yes, Mummy, Claire's just finished treatment. Oh, well done. Well done, you. Please don't worry. What journey? It's been a tough one. Yeah. Well done. What an amazing day. Amazing. Well done. Well done. Well done. I know it's just as hard for family and loved ones. Oh, this is your day. Yeah. This is your day. Ring that bell, girl.
Bring it with her.
Come on, Claire. Come on, Claire. You've done it.
Yeah, so when you watch when Catherine starts clapping, you can watch how hard she claps. Usually people clap it's like this. It goes, but hers are staying together when they clap, which means there's emotion involved, or it suggests there's emotion involved in there because she's trying to keep it together. When she claps, she hits and does because I got to clap, got to clap, got to clap. Not thinking it like that, but when she's doing it, she's totally focused on the
She
clap at
is,
that point.
yeah, because she's feeling it. She's feeling it.
Yeah,
She's been in that similar position where you're ringing the remission bell, and she's like, she
yeah,
knows what an important moment it is to that family. Catherine diagnosed with cancer in 2024. Thankfully, she remains in remission. King Charles still dealing with cancer. I truly felt like she was in this moment with her, and we saw this very hate to use this word, authentic moment of, authentic,
yeah.
sincere Kath, ring that bell, girl. And then a photographer goes, classic, like crossing the line, London photographer goes, bring it with her. And
Oh, come
yeah,
on.
Catherine ignores that because she's Catherine and she's perfection. But can you guess who I think would have jumped at the opportunity?
Oh, yeah. Let's go there. Yeah, of
Get your
course.
shot. Make sure you get your picture.
Oh,
I'm just going to
man.
jump in and grab. Oh my gosh. I
Oh, well,
just,
you're right.
but watching Catherine pretend like she doesn't hear it and completely ignore it. And then that clap, celebrating in the moment
Yeah.
with that couple. Um,
Yeah.
you felt her feel it. You know, one observation I'd made with a friend of mine is that, well, we'll just go back here. Meghan Markle, she's always looking for the camera during the engagements. There's a picture of her hugging a child that I think we covered together. She's hugging a child and she's looking for the camera while she's embracing the child.
Oof.
Catherine's got her back to the photographers. She's not there to help them do their job that day. She's not there to give them the picture that they want or need. Catherine is there to elevate this charity, this hospital. Catherine is there to raise awareness for breast cancer and breast cancer research and testing. Catherine is there to love on this couple and to maybe be the cherry on top of an already special and emotional day. You know, the back to the cameras, I really appreciate because it shows you that her entire focus is on this wife and mother and her husband. She even says to the husband, I know it's hard for you too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's riding right along. He's got a lot
Mm-hmm.
in that as well. Yeah, she's doing everything right, everything you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
everything you're supposed to do. And I agree with you about Megan's thing. Yeah, man, she'd have been right in there. I think that's just my opinion, but
Yeah. Just our opinion, just our very educated guess. And the back to the camera, is she aware of that? Or do you think that in that moment, all she's thinking about is the conversation between Claire and her husband and not distracting from this moment?
look how far away she is from her. She stepped back and goes, there, that's yours. That's your time.
Mm,
It's you and your guy. Yeah. So I don't think she gives a hoot about the camera right then. And the only reason I think she cares about a camera is because she knows she's supposed to look a specific way since she's has the role she has.
right.
It's not, and her role isn't an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
She's supposed to be a royal, and she knows how to stand and talk and when to talk and when not to, and things to say and do.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing. That's why she didn't give a hoot about whether they got her good side or whatever or not. Those kind
Uh,
of people don't.
all right. So I have a version of this same engagement that is shot by Catherine's team. So we're going to see some similar visuals, but it's shot by her team, and it's gotten the royal edit, which
Okay.
we find on their Instagram. So
Okay.
let's take a look at this one.
Yeah.
So when she's rubbing Claire's arm,
Mhm.
obviously I think that that's a very organic moment, but she must be able to sense that that's an appropriate thing to do or that's an okay thing to do. She must be able to sense,
Yeah.
or is she just like, I've been here, is it
That's
in?
what. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'd go. Yeah, she's been there. She's done that. She knows how that feels, how alone you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I had cancer, all my treatment was 3 days of staying away from people because they had to take this radioactive thing that gets rid of whatever the surgery doesn't get rid of when they take your thyroid, out because I had thyroid cancer. So so I don't even tell people I've ever had it half the time because I
I didn't
absolutely
know. I
did.
don't think I knew. I'm so sorry, Scott.
Oh,
I thank
no,
you
don't
for
be.
sharing that with
This
me.
was
I
with
feel
three of the
privileged to know that.
No, they took it out. I didn't even know I was going in for that. Just found it while they were doing something else in there.
Mm.
And then it was 3 days of being by myself in the basement. I couldn't get near Amber, the dogs, or anything because you have to take this one pill that gets rid of this radioactive pill that gets rid of all the other things that they can't get us. It's radiation that didn't get rid of the stuff they took out.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
nothing. My thing was nothing.
Well,
Mine was
I mean,
absolutely nothing.
you are still a part of a club, sadly, that so
See,
many people are a part of. And
yeah, but see, I don't even say that because mine doesn't. I mean, it technically. I could say that. Yeah, I can, but
yeah,
I didn't have to do anything. I
right.
didn't know I was going in and have that fear leading up to it. They wouldn't have that fear waiting when they were checking out to see if that's what it was, anything like that. But when they went in, they're like, here's this.
But we are saying but your point is we are saying Catherine, who experienced some of those things, truly
Yeah.
meeting this woman at a place that they're both familiar with.
Oh yeah. And there's nothing like seeing somebody, yeah, like if you've been shot before and you meet somebody else who's been shot, you've got this connection with it. If you've had, your appendix out, if you've had brain surgery and you meet somebody else that's had it too, you're like, hey man,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah.
You know.
What
So
did you
I
think about the shots we saw where we are clearly not privy to the situation? She's alone and in a, we're just seeing the bushes and the grass. She looks so engaged with
yeah,
these individuals. You know, she it's not like she's rushing to get to the next place or the next person. She is just truly at 100% invested in the conversation. What energy, what type of energy does that take to meet so many different strangers, hear so many hard stories? Um, because it doesn't look like it's taking a toll, but I have heard from friends that are journalists. I go home every day and have to mentally cleanse because I've had to cover horrible things or I've had to read hours of horrible things on the news. You know, Catherine is consuming a lot of tough stories. She's listening to these people's stories. She's hearing where they came from, what they're dealing with. Um, it's similar to the Camilla question, I guess, earlier, that she is taking in a lot of stuff, but still carries herself in such a way where she doesn't look like it's been heavy on her heart.
yeah, yeah. And the shot where it's far away like that gives you the impression that they've got privacy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they respect it. There's not like notice she doesn't have like hundreds of people around her in a situation where hundreds of people could be around her, like
Mm-hmm.
her other friend would be doing. And that,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a chance of people getting in there and doing that. And the people that are talking to her, look at their faces. Not there comes a point when you first meet somebody, you're smiley and happy and all that, but then you get into this relaxed state, and then you get your resting face on for that situation. Look at those faces as they go through that. Those are true emotions we're seeing on those people. They're happy to be there. And for her, I think as she goes through each one of these, it gets a little easier every time you do it.
Mm-hmm.
As I've been under the impression that when those things happen and you get used to dealing with those, and I think that's what we're seeing on her. And she knows that if you're talking to somebody and when you talk with someone, you don't want to face them straight on like this when you first meet them. You usually get at an angle, hey, what's going on when you first meet them because it doesn't feel aggressive. When you're speaking with someone one on one like that, you want to give them all of it. You want to give them your whole head. You don't want to be to the side a little bit and keep looking around as you're talking to them.
So
Yeah,
rude.
because
Yeah.
I heard what you're
So
saying.
rude.
That is sad. That's really sad. I'm sorry you had to go through all that. There's a whole lot going on. I just don't. And so when you see that, it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm. She is
ugh.
totally engaged. She is totally in the
Yeah.
moment and committed to that conversation. What do you observe when she is in an educational space? We see her in this video. She's around a table, and you can tell she's consuming information from the hospital, likely about some of their new research or some of the, we don't know what they're talking about, success rates, experiments, likely consuming some information that the hospital wanted to provide about what their strengths are, and to justify her visit there, and to give her information that she can share with the public inevitably when she, if and when she wants to talk about some of those specifics. But it does feel like she's being very respectful and legitimately digesting and consuming that information in real time.
Yeah. And you'll see hers. She has two or three different ways she approaches these. From the few videos we've seen on this, is what I'm assuming for her specifically. When she's got information intake, when they're telling something really important, you'll see that head come down and her chin will come out a little bit, like most people's will. If a doctor's telling you something, like, do what now? What I got to do? And then she'll put her hands together, and she'll stand there and have information intake that way, and she'll just stand up straight and not move. So that you've got her complete attention at that point. There's no extra of anything, but there won't be much movement or anything. And then when she's dealing with little children or something that's emotional, you see her cock her head a little bit. And when you turn your head to the side a little bit, it just kind of throws your ear this way and lets you know they're listening. Or that they're focused on what you're saying, and you'll see the eyebrows go up and the head shake.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the those are the three different things I think we saw in this last group of videos of her in this last situation.
Yeah. When she's clapping with the baby's now ringing the bell. I did
Mhm.
see the clap. It was not so aggressive. So there, I think she's acknowledging she's in
Oh
the
yeah.
presence of a baby. She wants to say yay, but she also doesn't want to be so aggressive that she startles the baby, because we've also got the bell going on. She's just very aware of her surroundings. And I think that it seems silly to celebrate that, but we are dealing with the constant, antithesis of that with Harry and Meghan and their faux royal tours. So it's
Mhm.
almost like a breath of fresh air to see someone utilizing common sense or being aware of their surroundings or acting appropriately or just self awareness in general, because the opposite is so aggressive and bad.
Yeah, it's like seeing a famous person on TV or on your computer at the movies or whatever. Then you see him in person. Big difference. You see a real one and sort of a fake one. So you have Meghan, who's the fake one, and you have Catherine, who's the real one. And the difference of those are dramatic. Their
Mm-hmm.
approaches, the way people approach them, that whole thing is there's such a big difference in those two.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. That's why everybody feels differently when they see her than when they see Meghan. You
Mm-hmm.
automatically everybody's ugh. When you see Meghan, your brain puts you on guard because something's not right there. In
Right.
this case, it's just all kind of smooth, just one straight line the whole way across.
Yeah, I thought that there was a really sweet moment in the last video where she kind of bursts into laughter and she throws her head back. And again, it's just one of those moments where we talked about it with Prince William. Maybe they're similar in this way, where yes, they know that the cameras are watching, but they're not performing for the cameras.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree because there's some things you do like what you're doing right now. Don't move your hand. Well, it's actually further down than it was.
Oh,
There's a little thing right here, this little neck dimple. It's called
yeah.
the, well, we won't get into now all the time talking about the details there. But women touch this thing right here. They'll touch that when they get emotional. They'll get up close to it when something actually hits them emotionally. So that's why you're seeing those things,
Mm,
you
yeah.
know? So and so people when you laugh, you can't control it. When you try not to laugh, it gets even worse because
Yeah.
it's going to come out,
Right.
So they'll be doing things they wouldn't think. I've got to throw my head back when I laugh. That's why it looks natural because it is. And when you see they're just on here slamming her. But when you see Megan do it, a lot of it's that they get down real low and looking right at the camera, the person, and laughing like that, which is, I'm sure there's a real laugh in there. But the people who, so it's almost out of control is when you see those, the people who relax and they just let it happen. Same
Hmm.
thing when they stick their hand right up here or touch their chest right up in here.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
just think that is that's interesting that they've adopted that same confidence and awareness where yeah, I don't have a beer in my hand at the football game because I know people are watching, but I'm also not performing for said cameras, so you're going to get a glimpse of me singing Sweet Caroline. And then we have Catherine here where sometimes her back is straight up to the camera because her job is not to ensure that the photographers get the best shot. Her job is to engage with these people and make sure that they feel seen and loved.
Yeah.
And then also the capturing some of those sweet moments where she is on guard but off guard with these moments or with these people in these private moments, sharing
Mhm.
stories that are making her laugh. Like I think that that's probably a difficult balance. Well, I tell you, it is a difficult balancing act because Meghan was an actress for a living, and it still looks like she's performing for the cameras when she is doing her best to look sympathetic. The way she aggressively hugs people, and you're just kind of like, do you have that person's consent? Where I'm saying to you, like with Catherine rubbing that woman's arm, that seriously
Yeah.
looked like a comforting moment.
Yeah. In moments like that, you don't go, I hope this is okay that I touch, you see people, can I touch you before they do your hair or whatever?
Mhm.
It's none of that. You just go and you start rubbing them because you
Yeah.
get, and that person knows that,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not barely touching them. Watch how she does it.
Yeah.
She's getting in there, man,
Mm-hmm.
making
Yeah.
that connection. And
Yeah.
we now use the term connection a lot. We're talking about the real royals
Mm-hmm.
because they are. And like when we were talking about Prince William, he was doing the same thing with that old lady. Remember that old
Dot.
woman when they were
Don't ever
talking to?
forget Dot, 94-year-old Dot.
Yeah,
He's
that's
trying to get a
right,
new
Dot.
bedfellow,
Yeah,
in
man.
Prince William.
She was trying to connect. But so that's the way they do it. That's what, and so we're seeing it happen for real.
Yeah.
They're not all tied up in that. They don't have that the second person or second scenario when they're going, here's what I need to look like, here's what I need to do. Nothing controlling it. It's just natural.
Right.
That's why it looks natural.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There was no team Zoom meeting with instruction
Mhm.
on how to behave, which allegedly, reportedly, is what happened before Australia. And it's just like, well, somebody didn't take notes because Australia was a you-know-what show. Hey, everyone, Kinsey Schofield here, and I want to tell you about today's sponsor. It's a total game changer, Peak's Liver Detox Protocol. You may not know it, but your liver handles a lot: energy, hormones, digestion, and even your mood. But with all the stress and toxins from everyday life, it needs some love. Forget harsh cleanses. Peak delivers gentle daily support inspired by traditional Chinese medicine. Their routine uses two simple blends. The first is a warming turmeric mix with cinnamon and black pepper, designed to help the body absorb it better and support the liver while calming inflammation. The second is a ginger and cinnamon blend that helps with blood flow, digestion, bloating, and immune support. The magic is how they work together to activate and flush for better digestion, stable energy, less brain fog, and that light, clear feeling. My energy is consistent, my skin is clear, and less bloating. That's Peak, where spirit meets science. Redefine your standard of health, secure 20% off your order, and begin your intentional wellness journey today at peaklife.com/Kinsey. That's PIQUE life.com/Kinsey. Thanks so much. You talked about connection. Let's watch King Charles in this next video. King Charles and Princess Catherine attended their first joint cancer-focused event at St. James Palace in London. This marked the 125th anniversary of Cancer Research UK. Both royals, we just talked about Princess Catherine, but both royals actually revealed that they had cancer in 2024 and have bonded over their shared health battles. King Charles still regularly being treated for cancer today. Tom Sykes told me of the Daily Beast and the Royalist while I was in DC that he met with somebody close to King Charles that said that he's been having these experimental treatments that have really improved his energy and have really improved his health. But I believe a palace source said last year that this is a cancer that he will be living with. So he's continuing treatment, but we're going to watch him because they met some researchers, some volunteers, other people that were involved in Cancer Research UK's prevention and diagnosis treatment plan group. And you just see, in my opinion, a really grateful heart. Like he just seems at ease with these people. And I can't remember who Dickie Arbiter reminded me of this. Dickie Arbiter worked for King Charles when he was Prince Charles and Queen Elizabeth when she was queen. King Charles has been championing cancer research and working with cancer charities forever. So this is not new to him. He's been learning about some of these treatment options and things like that for a long time. So he probably will have a lot of respect for these types of people. I'm going to jump into this video now.
Well, they do these videos so well.
I know, but this is when we talk about off the top, how we're trying to get, between the palace press releases and this is one of those gorgeous, glossy, well-produced videos, and we're trying to catch them in little moments and little seconds because it is a highly produced, glossy video from the palace. Is it harder? Because we've talked about photos, and we do have a photo on today. We're going to break down a picture. And you've said to me, from a body language perspective, video is so much easier. And I think I've seen you speed up video on your channel. Have you, do you do slow-mo? Does slow-mo make it more difficult to to judge someone's body language? Is it more helpful? Because we're dealing with a lot of slow-mo here. From a body language perspective, does it affect your observations at all, the speed of the video?
Well, when you look at something in real time, until you get really good at it, you'll see a bunch of things happen at once, and you won't be able to track everything. So that's why you go back in slow motion. You see if how far up their eyelids move. Do they touch the suprasternal notch? The women, when they do that, oh, I don't know. If they do that real quick, is it that or is it that? So you have a little burst of emotion really quickly. When you see the little side of the mouth go up, that suggests that that's contempt, because it's one of the only facial expressions that have just one side of the mouth or the face moving is contempt. So you see that go up just a little bit. And sometimes it happens so fast and so small, like a tenth of a second, you got to kind of slow down and say, what did I just see? And you'll miss things if you have 4 or 5 things going on at the same time in a facial expression. I just showed you 14 right there. So if you weren't watching all of them, we could break them down and be boring as hell. But if you're not watching them all, then you can't catch everything. That would and if you see somebody doing what I just did, and they've lost their dang minds because there's too many emotions going on in that one quick, tiny little shot.
That person's on meth. If we see all that in one video, that person's on meth.
That's true.
So when we observed King Charles in this video, as brief as it was, and I apologize for that, as we observed King Charles in this video, he's dealing with all of these volunteers, these people that are heavily involved in cancer research. I mean, these are people that are trying to cure a disease that has affected all of us. He seems to admire and respect these people, in my opinion, based on his body language and based on his comfort in the scenario. Am I overthinking this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the older guys are good at that, especially him.
Yeah.
Because when when he came over, it seems to me like there's no, even though he's probably a funny guy, I think he'd be a good, you would know, you've hung with him. Is he a good hang?
He's a good hang, yeah, very much so. He's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, that's what I think. So I like funny people, so I probably get along. But those kind of people, and I'm not just saying that funny people are smart, but they tend to have a little bit more, not intellectual prowess, but they seem to be smarter than everybody else because of the way that you have to set up something to be funny.
Yeah.
From an intellectual perspective. So I think he's probably really smart. And when he sees somebody, he's taking in all kinds of information about that person, even though he may just stand there listening. Mm-hmm. He's taking in a whole lot and deciding how he's going to answer for that. Obviously, nothing's going to be funny in a situation like this, or he's not going to try to be a comedian about anything.
He might. I mean, he is very funny and off the cuff and witty. And in a situation like this, I can see him making a joke or two to lighten the mood, because it is even in Catherine's outfit. Catherine wore a red dress and it looks polka dot, but those are white hearts all over it. That very much it's Kinsey coded. Like, that very much differs from the type of outfit she normally wears. She doesn't normally go for patterns. It's usually like a solid color or a suit, and it's playful, it's joy, it's like fun, it's sweet. So I do think that this was the type of engagement where it's a serious topic, but it's clear to me based on her wardrobe alone that they wanted a very specific feeling in that room, and it was light, and it was, and even in some of the video we see of Catherine, she is laughing, and it just could be a heavy topic, but everyone there seems to be in good spirits.
Is there an app we can get where we can buy the clothes she was wearing, the same stuff?
So can you imagine if they put Catherine unsolicited on Meghan Markle's AI app? Ooh.
Oh man.
Meghan would have the audacity to do that, because she did have some of her children's clothes on her Shop My page, and that was without her kids' consent. So why would she consent to asking Catherine's permission?
Oh, she put Catherine's kids on?
No. Oh,
their clothes?
Not exactly, but their favorite brand. Some of the clothing that Princess Charlotte wears, some of the brands that Catherine almost exclusively buys for her children. We did think that was odd that Meghan was promoting them, because it's like, Meghan, you're an American. Why are you so obsessed with what Catherine's children are wearing, or British designers? Like, you have rejected the UK. Well, since we're already headed in that direction. So let's talk about this picture. No comments yet. because Meghan doesn't allow comments. So this is Harry and Meghan wishing Lily a happy birthday, our dream girl. Happy 5th birthday, Lily. Talk to me about this. If you need me to put it back on the screen, I can put it back on the screen. But we just saw Meghan in Geneva talking about how the internet is evil and social media is evil, and you need to keep your kids off the internet. And then within days, I mean, we joked about her posting a picture of Lily days before. You know, it's the audacity of her to sit in Geneva and say AI is wrong, AI app for her clothing. Don't post your kids on the internet. And then here she is yet again sharing these, in my opinion, very bizarre photos of her faceless kids, which let me just and people are going to say in the comments, let Scott talk, because they always do, as conveniently ignoring my ADHD.
No, wait a minute. I don't know what I'm talking about on this. I don't know about the royals. I'm learning as I'm doing this. And the only thing I know is what I've learned from you watching this and watching you before this.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything. So believe me, you're not letting me talk. You see what I'm saying? I'm just listening. And so I'm like, what? I get lost because I'm like, wow, that's a lot of information.
I know.
So
I
no,
love it.
That's not what's happening here.
Oh,
That's
thank
not
you.
what's happening. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what Meghan said in response to some of the criticism about her posting pictures of her children online after Geneva. This is pre this photo of Lily. And then I want to get your response as an expert in, just security in general and protecting children online. So
Okay,
here's
then let's talk about that hairdo of his. That's the most horrific thing I've seen. Now I'm losing my hair. We all know, we can all see that, But that dude, if mine gets like that and I don't like shave it there or do something.
You're putting on a cap. You're capping it.
Oh, I'll put on a damn hat. Yeah. But after a while, it's like, well, he's wearing a hat because he's bald. He's bald.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy. If when my hair gets too long for a haircut, I'll wear a hat. But not, once it finally all goes, that's what I'm gonna just zip it right off, man.
He could be like the Edge, because the other night when I was at Chateau Marmont, which I told you about, Bono was there and the Edge, but I didn't initially recognize the Edge because I only know the Edge as the guy that wears the beanie, but he didn't have the beanie on, so bald. I didn't recognize him. So Harry could become the California beanie guy, and we'd never see him bald.
Huh. No, we'd see him. Yeah, no. Somebody pull it off. They would, man. They would.
At a polo event, somebody would be like, no beanie for you. But here's what she said. Here are some comments specifically from her. After Geneva, a source told Page Six what Markle talked about in Geneva, what young kids are being exposed to via dangerous algorithms and content, is very different than her own positive content. What we're suggesting is you are exposing your children to predators in the weird way that you are displaying their pictures. Her only advocating for the weird algorithms is doing half the job. Like, AI can take your kids' pictures off the internet, and all of a sudden your kids are featured in a new Hollywood film without anyone's consent. I mean, there are predators online that can take a regular picture of a child and turn it into something weird. Like, you're only advocating for a portion of the problems if you're just saying, the algorithms are weird, but I post positive content. Keep your kids off the internet. Many mothers share content of their children in a proud and positive manner. Meghan does it tastefully and without showing their faces, just as many other well-known people do, the insider insisted. Here is a more recent response, because she loves to clap back, never complain, never explain, except unless you're Meghan Markle, and then you're always complaining and always explaining. Meghan has always been clear that there is a distinction between sharing moments from her life and exposing her children to public scrutiny. By obscuring their faces, she is demonstrating the very principle she advocates for, giving children privacy, agency, and protection in an increasingly digital world. Far from being contradictory, by concealing their faces, she is actually reflecting the message she delivered in Geneva, that parents can choose to share family experiences while still taking deliberate steps to protect identities, privacy, and digital footprint. I'd love your response to that, because, as you know, I think that's a very silly excuse.
Yeah, that's stupid. But for her to say that, and for the person, her publicist or whatever, to say, well, there's other people that do it too, but those other people aren't going, hey man, this is bad. Talking about internet harms and AI and your child and all that, and they consistently show their children. Like I've said before, all that does, and in some cases with people who aren't together mentally, that's going to trigger something in somebody, and they're calling it in, man, to have something attempted or try to have something happen because they're teasing people with those children. I'm telling you, because they're famous children. Nobody's seen them or whatever. And there's going to be a nut out there that goes, I need to see them kids. That's
Yeah.
where I'm going. I want to go out there and see what's going on.
Also, just
And
like the teeny picture by teeny picture, you know that they're, and again, like their entire Netflix series, Harry and Meghan, you see the children as babies clearly throughout that. There is technology out there that can put two and two together and can show us pretty closely what these kids look like. So it just feels like the like flirting with
you're
these
exactly right.
pictures.
You're
it's
exactly
it's
right.
creating more of a problem.
Yeah,
Just
you're
keep them off the
exact.
internet.
Yeah, practice what you preach. If you're
Yeah.
going to walk the walk, if you're going to talk the talk, then walk the walk. Don't even, don't even talk about, I mean, you can say I've got kids, but don't bring it up.
Hmm.
Don't be showing your children.
Yeah.
No matter whether just they're all, it's the whole thing just gets me worked up because, like I said before, that's almost a tease for some people.
Hmm.
It's
I
not good. It's not good.
I completely agree with you there. I meet you there. I want to go back one more time. I did see someone share a zoomed in image of this photo where it appears that Meghan Markle is trying to look at the camera. She's not even looking at Lily. They zoomed in and it kind of looks like Meghan's looking off to the side to ensure that they're getting the shot. Would
No
that
way.
surprise you?
No, no, not good enough. It's posed.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. I
Yeah.
can't see it though. I didn't know that I would have blown it up
Yeah.
and gotten a look when I can
I'll
maybe I
send it
can.
to you and let you give me your off camera verdict
Okay.
on that. Well, agree with us, disagree with us. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Scott Rouse, thank you so much for being here today. Scott is linked down below, so please go follow Scott at Scott Rouse and the Behavior Panel on YouTube as well. And what have you got coming up on your channel, Scott?
I'm gonna do this thing. This guy who dealt with these people that had stolen this guy's Legos. What's the guy? I can't
Oh,
remember the name of the guy. It's
yeah,
called, but it's a really big deal in the news right now
yeah, yeah.
because they stole like this store. He takes them to this store. It's called Minifigs.
Uh-huh.
Some people may know about that, or your children may know about it if you're watching with the kids. And they stole he took these Legos, Star Wars Legos, to be sold, $200,000 worth, and they to be sold on commission, and they stole them. They said no, we don't have them, and all that. It's a long story, but I'm going to do a video on the body language from that.
Oh, that'll be
Very
fun.
nice
All
to
right.
show.
Well, I look forward to watching that on your channel. You should too. Subscribe to Scott Rouse. Make sure you subscribe to Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered if you haven't. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys again next time.